we are in the process of learning the strategic management process and also the elements of strategic intent. So far we have learnt about vision, mission and defining the business. Already we learnt in short about business model, and the next important thing is setting the objectives. See, already I have given a very short introduction regarding the objectives. See, we cannot reach out our vision all at a time. That vision has to be broken down into performance targets, measurable performance targets, and those measurable performance targets, they are called as objectives. Okay, so objectives are organization's performance targets, that is the results and outcomes it wants to achieve. See, if you want to reach the vision, which is the ultimate end point, you have to divide that vision into particular parts, and you should try to work out to reach those particular parts, which are called as objectives. Because at a time we cannot reach our vision. Vision is long term. It takes a lot of time to reach the vision. Okay, so that's why we have to make our journey in the direction of the vision. Okay, for that we need to break down our activities into different units, and we need to work towards achieving those objectives. So, see, do you know why we require a strategy? We require a strategy to achieve a particular objective. So, the most important thing in strategic management process after setting vision and mission is setting objectives. That is the most important thing. Because if you don't have objectives, then there will be no measurability of performance. How you are performing? Are you performing in a proper way or not? Are you on the right track or not? How will you know that? Okay, your vision is very far. Your vision is very far. Probably some 5 years or 10 years down the line. But in the meantime, what is the measurement for your performance? How will you know that you are performing well? How will you know that you are on the right track? How will you know about the pace of your activity? Pace means the speed. How will you know the speed of your activity? How will you know whether you are going in the right track or not? So, for all these things, we need to have objectives. Objectives are the performance targets. Okay, and we will have both short-term objectives as well as long-term objectives. Okay, and we need to work out these short-term and long-term objectives. Our focus should be on achieving the short-term and long-term objectives. And one very important thing I will tell you. For example, at your personal level, if someone asks, what is your vision? Will you say that becoming a chartered accountant is my vision? No, definitely should not say that. Because becoming a chartered accountant is not the ultimate point in your life. But certainly, it is an important thing. But it is not the ultimate thing. You have to do a lot of things after becoming chartered accountant. So what ultimately you want to get? How people should look at you? That becomes the vision. And for example, you want to be a very good, top-rated financial consultant. That is your vision. And to become that financial consultant, you need to become a chartered accountant. Then, becoming a chartered accountant will be your objective, but not your vision. Vision means ultimately what you want to do, what you want to get. See, after completion of your chartered accountancy, don't you do anything? Everything stops there? No, absolutely no. Everything starts from that point. So, if everything in your career starts from that point, how can you say that it is your vision? Becoming a chartered accountant is your vision. It is definitely not your vision. Because it is not the point where you stop. It is the point where you start. So, you have a very grand design of your life, you want to achieve more in life, you are visualizing yourself in a big way, that is your vision. And becoming a chartered accountant is an important aspect in that, is an important concept in that. So you have to understand all of this. Right. Anyway, objectives are very much essential, because if you have a vision and mission and if you don't have objectives, a very important thing is missed. What is that very important thing? There will be no measurability of performance. You will be performing, but you should always understand that there should be measurability all the time. So there should be some measurability of the performance. That is the most important thing. So objectives are organization's performance targets, that is the results and outcomes it wants to achieve. So what you want to achieve? Don't say that I want to achieve my vision. No, there is nothing like achieving the vision. You have to reach that point. Vision is the end point. You have to reach that point. In order to reach that point, you have to go through many things in your way. See, for example, if a company wants to become an international company, there are many things that are to be done in order to become an international company. It's not very easy to become an international company. Many things have to be done. So all things that are required to become an international company, they are called as objectives. And once you achieve all these things, only then you become an international company. Only then you realize your vision. So vision has to be realized. There is nothing there to achieve in the vision. You have to reach that position. Vision is your final position. So in order to reach that position, what do you have to do? You have to achieve many things. Only when you achieve many things, you can reach that vision. So what you have to achieve, that you need to have clarity. And what things are needed to be achieved, what things are essential to reach the vision, they are called as objectives. They are called as objectives. Okay? Now, objectives are the organization's performance targets. Means always we need to have a target. Without target, there will be no measurability of performance. And you may not reach your vision once there is no measurability. Always there should be a measurement. How much has to be done? How much is done? What is the gap? That is why control is the most important function of the management. Because what is control? Control means what you have to do and what you have done. And what is the gap between these two? Between what? Between what has to be done and what you have done. So always there will be a gap. And you should always focus on reducing that gap. That is the most important thing you need to remember. So, always there should be targets and we should be focusing on achieving those targets. And once you achieve target after target, target after target, then you will be going very close to your vision, to the point where you want to reach. Okay. So, they function as yardsticks for tracking an organization's performance and progress. That is what I am telling you. How can you say that a particular organization is doing well? How can you say that an organization performance is good? What is the measure? Simply by randomly looking at an organization, observing their day-to-day activities, will you say that the organization is doing well? Is that the measure? Is that the measuring rod? Is that the yardstick? Is that the measuring jar? No. Then what things are required to measure the performance? Yes, they are objectives. That means every organization should have some short-term as well as long-term objectives, and whether the organization is reaching those objectives or achieving those objectives or not, that is the real measure, that is the real yardstick to measure the performance of the organization. That is the reason companies have objectives all the time. They have quarterly objectives, monthly objectives, fortnightly objectives, objectives for the day. So, we need to have objectives, and that is the reason objectives play a very important role in management. You know, Peter F. Drucker, who is called as the father of modern management, he has named his theory as MBO, Management by Objectives. The theory proposed by Peter F. Drucker. I think you know who is Peter F. Drucker. Peter F. Drucker is called as the father of modern management. So, this Peter F. Drucker says that, the theory proposed by him is MBO, Management by Objectives. So, these objectives are very important. Objectives are nothing but your performance targets, your targets of performance. That means you have to perform well to reach that particular point. And whether you are performing well or not is decided by whether you are reaching your objectives or not in the specified time period. See, for example, a company in the first quarter, it wants to improve its sales by 5%. Is it doing it or not? Okay, it has, for example, in the first quarter, in the Q1, its target is 5% increase in sales. So, did the company achieve that? Immediately after the completion of first quarter, we have to check out whether the company has achieved 5% increase in sales in the first quarter or not. If it did, then we can say that the company is on the right track going forward to reach its vision. On the other hand, the company could only improve 4%, not 5% exactly. Then there is some lacuna, then there is a gap, there is some problem that has to be addressed. Now, what is that problem? We need to find it out. And we need to correct the problem. We need to rectify the problem. And we need to ensure that the objectives are achieved as per the time schedules, as per the criteria. Only then the organization performance will be good. See, even at the individual level, we need to have targets, no? Because it is targets which motivate us. See, many of the students, they say that we will show our talent and capability in the final exams. I don't bother this all weekend exams, module exams or some other exams, we don't bother. Our main focus is on final exams. We are targeting to perform better in the final examinations. Many students used to say like this, which is a totally wrong thing. See, you need to all the time evaluate your performance, how you are performing well. That is the reason you have to take the weekends seriously, unit exams seriously, module exams seriously, because these all will tell you about your performance. And if you don't check out your performance in all these exams and directly targeting to the final exam, it is not at all a right thing. You will not have a perfect estimation regarding your performance. See, when can you have a perfect, accurate estimation about your performance? When you take all these module and weekend examinations seriously, only then you will get an assessment whether you are on the right track, whether your preparation is on the right track, whether you need to make some modifications or can you carry with the same level of activity and effort. How will you know all these things if you don't write any of the examinations? See, each and every exam is your objective in the way of reaching your final exam. And if you miss out all these objectives and always talking that I'll be concentrating on the final exam, that is not a right proposition. That is not the right way. So, in the same way, companies also, they should have, that is the reason, like students are having quarterly exams and half-yearly exams. Likewise, companies also have quarters. Each and every financial year is divided into 4 quarters, Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. And for every quarter, there are objectives, and company should always target to achieve that particular objective in the respective quarter. That is very important. Only then the company can gain the confidence of the investors and shareholders. See, that is the reason there will be lot of fluctuations in the stock markets when quarterly results are announced by the companies. If a company has achieved the quarterly target, then all the shareholders, investors, they are very happy. They are very happy. So, this is definitely achieving the objectives is definitely a very important thing. It is a measuring rod. It is an yardstick for the performance of the company. See, how can people believe you? Do you think that people believe your words? No, people believe your deeds, not your words. Your actions, not your words. So, you need to have targets and you need to constantly and consciously work towards achieving those objectives. And that is the most important thing. Okay. And another important thing regarding objectives is an objective will decide whether you are on the right track or not. Okay. So, they function as yardsticks of tracking an organization's performance and progress. They provide meaning and sense of direction to organizational endeavor. This is the most important point. Why we need to have objective? What happens if we don't have objective? That is the question here. Why we need to have objectives? Because an objective provides you a meaning and sense of direction to the organizational endeavor. And while telling this, I remember a very important quote given by Swami Vivekananda, who says that a person with an objective commits 5,000 mistakes and a person without an objective commits 50,000 mistakes. See how beautifully he said? A person with an objective commits 5,000 mistakes and a person without an objective commits 50,000 mistakes. 50,000 mistakes. Why? Because a person working without an objective will do everything in a wrong way because he has no sense of direction. He will do whatever he feels best at that particular point of time. See, we don't require wisdom, we don't require intelligence to do the things as they come or to make a decision instantly depending on that particular situation. That don't require intelligence, that don't require any wisdom. But intelligence is required to restrict ourselves, to control ourselves, to set a target, to set an objective and try to achieve that objective and face the challenges that come in your way of achieving that particular objective. For doing all these things, intelligence is required. So, whenever you have an objective, that objective will tell the path, the direction, the way you move. For example, if I don't have any objective, now what I will do? I will do whatever I feel best at that particular point of time. Today something seems to be best, I'll do it. And tomorrow again something seems to be best, then I'll do that. And day after tomorrow another thing. After 5 days another thing. Next week another thing. Next month another thing. There is no continuity. There is no focus. Whatever I feel best I am doing. And in English there is a proverb which says that a rolling stone gathers no mass. So my career or my company or my life also becomes like that. A rolling stone or a paper which moves in air according to the direction of the wind. And if I move according to the direction of the wind, okay, I cannot achieve anything. I'll be nowhere. I'll be iterating here and here and here and making rounds and rounds and rounds here only. Because there is no target, there is no objective, there is no direction, there is no channelization of resources. See, this is the biggest problem. See, everyone will have certain resources, either at the individual level or at the company level. And here I wanted to tell you one very important point. The principles of strategic management are equally applied to both business situations as well as individual situations also. We can take the essence of the concepts of strategic management and we can apply them in our personal life also, so that we will have a clarity regarding our approach in life. Okay. So, For example, a person is not having any objective. What happens? He will perform what he feels best at that particular point of time. He don't have any objective. He has a lot of resources. That is the point I am telling you. Here, every company, every individual will have certain resources. But the problem is the channelization of the resources. In what direction you put your resources? What efforts you make to put your resources? That is the most important thing. And many people are confused about this. They don't know how to channelize their resources. They don't know how to put their resources into proper way. And if you waste your resources, okay, it is wastage of your life, it is wastage of money, everything. So, here there are two important things. Presence of resources and utilization and channelization of resources. And many people face a problem of utilization and channelization of resources. They don't know how to put their resources into proper use because they don't have certain predetermined objectives. That is the biggest problem. So, how can we solve that problem? We can solve that problem by having an objective. Once you have an objective, that objective gives a sense of direction to the organizational endeavor. What is endeavor? Endeavor is the attempts what you are doing, the work what you are doing. That is the endeavor. Organizational endeavor means various activities that are done by the organization. And all the activities that are done by the organization should have a direction, should be focused in a particular direction. And what is that direction? It is your objective. So once you have an objective, everything will be focused. All your energies, efforts are focused in achieving that particular objective. That is the greatness of having an objective. And you know, having objective is the basic thing and it is a starting point for a successful business or for a successful career. That is the importance of objective. Okay. Organizational structure and activities are designed and resources are allocated around the objectives to facilitate their achievement. See how beautifully it is said. Your organization structure, your organization culture, how you use your resources, everything is decided by your objective only. Yes, everything is finally decided by your objective. For example, I have men, money, materials, methods and machines. And even my friend, my competitor is also having men, money, material, methods and machines. Both of us are having the resources. But my objective is to become an international company. But my friend's objective is to penetrate more deeply into the existing market. Here what happened? Our objectives are different. So, I will use my own men, money, materials, methods and machines in achieving my particular objective of becoming an international company. And whereas my competitor friend, he utilizes his men, money, material, methods and machines on penetrating deeper into the existing market. Means, we are having the same resources, but how we channelize our resources, how we allocate the resources and how we get the outcomes, what results we achieve, it all depends on our objectives. So, that is the beauty of having an objective. If you have an objective, you will get a clarity regarding what you want to do, what you want to achieve, how you have to use your resources. See, this is the biggest problem. Okay. So, organization structure, your activities, resource allocation, these all revolve around the objective. That means, objective is the crux. Objective is the central point. Objective is the backbone. So, around the objective only, everything revolves. Your resources, your structure, your culture, okay, your activities, everything revolves around the objective. And if there is no objective at the center, what happens? Everything becomes guideless, senseless, directionless, useless, meaningless, futile. Yes, that is the importance of having an objective. That means now you will get a doubt. Sir, you are telling that objective guides everything, then what about the vision? No need to confuse. No need to confuse. See, you want to become a very good financial consultant in your life. That is your vision. And to achieve that vision, what instantly you should do? You should become a chartered accountant. Means, becoming a chartered accountant is in the direction of becoming a financial consultant. Isn't it? Isn't it? So, you are on the right path. Vision is for that reason. Why you are pursuing the chartered accountancy course? Because you have a vision of becoming a good financial consultant. For that you are pursuing this chartered accountancy course. So, there is no conflict here. Vision is clear. Okay. And our immediate objective is to become a chartered accountant. Now, we have to focus on becoming a chartered accountant. And once you become a chartered accountant, things are not over. That is why here it is said, there is no ending for the objectives. Objectives always keep on coming. For example, if you have achieved the first quarter objective in a company, second quarter is already waiting for you. Again, you will have an objective in the second quarter. And once second quarter is finished, is it the end point? No. Third quarter is waiting. Again, you have to pursue the third quarter objectives. That is what it is said here. All organizations have objectives, and the pursuit of objectives is an unending process. There is no end to the objectives. If one objective is achieved, automatically second objective crops up, will come in your way. If once you become a chartered accountant, then you need to find a good job in Big Four or in a very big company. Get yourself trained, get some experience, and do some other course which is helpful to become financial consultant. Again, there will be a lot of objectives. But our immediate, instant, closure, nearer, short-term objective is to become a chartered accountant. So, already we are on the right track. We have a very grand vision, and to get there, we decided that we need to finish the chartered accountancy course, and now we have to focus all our energies, efforts, resources on becoming a chartered accountant. Once we become a chartered accountant, immediately we will have another objective, because the pursuit of objectives is an unending process. Okay. Likewise, I have told you a personal level example, an individual level example. Now let us take another example at the organizational level. For example, an organization is having an objective of becoming an international company. And once it becomes an international company, then it wants to further grow into a very big company. See, if you do your business in 2 or 3 countries, definitely you can become an international company. But again, new targets comes. I want to be a leader in Asia Pacific. I want to be a leader in Mid-Atlantic. I want to be a leader in Europe. I want to be a leader in Americas. So again, new objectives comes. There is no end to the pursuit of objectives until we reach our vision. And even, is there an end to a vision? A vision is for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. After that, again we will have a new vision. Sir, where is the end for this game? No end for this game. Because organizations are perceived to be going concerns. How many days you want to continue in the business? Those many days you will have vision, objective. This entire strategic management process should happen. There is no end for this. Okay? Right. So, organization structure, activities are designed and resources are allocated around the objectives to facilitate their achievement. And they also act as benchmarks for guiding organizational activity for evaluating how the organization is performing. See, this is a common thing. See, whenever we are doing something, we will have a suspicion in our mind. What is that suspicion? Are we on the track? Are we performing well? Are we going in the right path? Do we need to do something more? So these kind of suspicions will be in the mind of the person who is trying to do something. Now, who will clear all these suspicions? How all these suspicions will be cleared? Yes, there is an answer for this. That is the achievement of the objectives. If you set some objectives and if you achieve those objectives, then you need not worry. You need not have any suspicion in your mind. What suspicion? Suspicion like whether I am performing well or not, whether I am doing well or not, whether I am on the right track or not, whether the speed is enough or not, or shall I get more speed. You need not think like this. Once you are in the way of achieving your objectives and you have already achieved an objective, then that is the clarity you should have that you are on the right track. That means an objective is a benchmark. It is a standard. Benchmark means standard. Now, we always want some benchmark performance, no? Some standard performance, very good performance. And how can you know that your performance is a benchmark performance? Yes, you can know. Because with your performance, if you can achieve your objective, that is an indication that your performance is a standard performance or a benchmark performance. Okay. So, objectives also acts as benchmarks, means standards. For what? For guiding organizational activity and for evaluating how well the organization is performing. So, this is again very important, evaluating. All the time, continuously, constantly, we need to evaluate. Check out whether are we on the right track or not, whether we are moving in the right direction or not. We need to check out. And how can you do that? It is through objectives. You answer my question first. Are you achieving your objectives? Okay. Are your targets achieved or not? If your answer is yes, then you have a benchmark performance. You are in the right track. And if your answer is no, then you have to evaluate. Why? What stops me from achieving my objectives? What prevents me? What avoids me from reaching my objective? What additional skills or resources or capabilities or competencies that I require to achieve my objective? In that way, you need to think. And you have to get all those extra capabilities, resources and all and try to achieve the objectives. And today organizations, this I have already told you. All organizations have objectives and the pursuit of objectives is an unending process. There is no end for the achievement of the objectives. No end. Okay. And today organizations are capable of achieving multiple objectives. See, once upon a time, there used to be singularity of objectives. Like an organization used to focus only on profitability, or an organization used to focus on stability. But today, the business environment has become so complex, so competitive, hyper competitive, that today organizations should achieve multiple objectives at the same time. And do you think that achieving multiple objectives at the same time is very tough? No. Already companies are doing. See, multiple objectives means what? Profitability is one objective. Stability is one objective. Technological dynamism is one objective. Legal compliance is one objective. That means a businessman should learn the art of balancing. He should learn the art of balancing the objectives. If there is only one objective, no need to balance. You can totally focus all of your energies on that particular objective. But once you have plurality of objectives, once you have multiple objectives, and you cannot neglect any of these objectives, that is the issue here. You cannot neglect, because all objectives are important. All objectives are important. You cannot prioritize them. All objectives are of equal priority. Profitability is as important as legal compliance. And legal compliance is as important as social responsibility. And social responsibility is as important as environmental safety. Now, an organization is having all these objectives. And a businessman should know the art of balancing all these multiple objectives and achieve the targets and move forward in reaching the vision. So by listening all this, you should understand how tough it is to manage large companies and how people are working towards achieving all these things, how hard they work and how they are building very big corporations, business corporations. Okay? So today organizations are capable of achieving multiple objectives. In general, we may identify a set of business objectives being pursued by the business. For example, profitability, productive efficiency, growth, technological dynamism, stability, self-reliance, survival, competitive strength, customer service, financial solvency, product quality, diversification, employee satisfaction, and welfare, and so on. See how many objectives are there? Of course, first of all, among all these objectives, we have to identify the most important. And again, the most important will not be one. The most important objectives will be again plural only. The most important things will be 4 or 5. So at first you have to concentrate on those 4 or 5 objectives. And then come to the remaining objectives. Okay. But ultimately, you have to achieve all the objectives. That you need to understand. Ultimately, you have to achieve. But see, for example, if you have some 12 or 15 objectives, it is highly impossible to achieve all the 15 objectives at a time. So among the 15, you select the best 4 or the best 5 and first try to focus on getting or achieving those objectives and later on focus on the remaining objectives. But at any given point of time, you have to pursue multiple objectives only. Okay. Because you may ask me, sir, why these many objectives? Why can't I focus only on one particular objective? The answer is simple. Competition. Environment. Most turbulent environment. That is the answer. Okay? And organizations need to balance these objectives in an appropriate manner. That is what I am telling you. That is what I am telling you. A businessman should learn the art of balancing these objectives. Sir, how will you know? You are simply telling he should learn the art. What is that art? I cannot say. That again depends on the business environment and the business situation. In which situation you are. What kind of environment you are facing. Because the priorities differ. Basing on the nature of the organization and nature of the environment. And in second lesson we have seen that all businesses will not have the same kind of industry traits. Nature of industry is different. So, learning the art means basing on the nature of your industry, basing on the environment, a businessman has to intelligently and wisely select the objectives and he have to carry on. So, the intelligence of the businessman lies there in finding out the best objectives to be achieved. Right. So, with that we have finished that question. Now, let us move on to another question. That is, what are the characteristics which must be possessed by objectives to be meaningful to serve the intended role, or state the characteristics of objectives? Okay, sir. In question number 12, you told us the importance of objectives. Then, if, for example, if I want to set some objective, generally in what way, in what manner should I set an objective? That means, you just explain us the characteristics of objective. How an objective should be. What kind of objective should I set? Okay. See, I have an objective, but that objective don't have any time frame. That objective is not very specific. That objective is not so realistic. That objective is not time bounded. That objective is not achievable. But there is an objective. What is that objective? It should not be like that. See, I have a dream which is impossible. Okay. But still I want to achieve that dream. How is it like that? It should not be like that. So whenever I have an objective, that objective should have certain characteristics. Only then I can achieve that objective. If I have some objectives which are so illogical, which are so irrational, which are not at all meaningful, which are purposeless, then can we call them as objectives? No. So in order to call a particular thing as an objective, it should possess some characteristics. Now in this question, we are going to learn about all those characteristics. Objectives to be meaningful, to serve the intended role, must possess the following characteristics. What are they? Objectives should define the organization's relationship with its environment. Yes. See, whenever you set an objective, the first thing is you have to study the environment, and basing on the environment only, you have to set the objectives. So, objectives should define the organization's relationship with the environment. See, I have an objective where I set that objective without considering anything about the environment. And do you think that you can achieve that objective? Because there is a lot of interdependence between the environment and the business. And if you don't consider the environment at all and set an objective, how can you achieve that objective? So whenever you set an objective, always keep in mind that you have to know the environment. And second one, they should facilitate the achievement of vision and mission. See, how much care you should take to set an objective. And again, you have to monitor the environment, and also you should keep in mind what is your vision and mission. Your vision and mission is on the right side and your objective is on the left side. What is that? It's not correct. So, your objective should be helpful to realize your vision, to achieve your vision, to reach your vision. In that way, you should make your objective. And they should provide the basis for strategic decision making. They should provide the basis for strategic decision making. This is what I told you. If a particular organization or an individual don't have an objective, what happens is every decision made by him will turn into a mistake. That is what even Swami Vivekananda also told. A person without an objective commits 50,000 mistakes means what? Every decision he takes will not be a correct decision because he don't have an objective. That is a problem. So whenever we have an objective, that objective will act as a basis for our decisions because we decide based on our target. If your objective is to become a chartered accountant, then how much time you want to spend on luxuries, on entertainment, on social media, okay. These all things you can decide based on your objective. First of all, you have to decide what is your objective, education or entertainment. Don't say edutainment. Don't combine the word. That is the most illogical word, edutainment, combining entertainment and education. No. First you have to decide whether you want entertainment or education. If education is your objective, then what kind of decisions you have to make? So, that is the greatness. Objective is the reference point which is used as a guide for your decisions. Okay? And they should provide standards for performance appraisal. Okay? That means, if you want to identify whether a company is performing better or not, so definitely you need to have objectives. When a company is performing the objectives and achieving the objectives, achieving the targets, then we can say that the company is performing well. And objectives should be understandable. Understandable means an objective should be understood by each and every person working to achieve that objective. I am working for something, but I don't have clarity regarding what I am working for. So that should not be the case. And objective should be concrete and specific. Objective should be concrete and specific. And some people say that we will get more sales in the next quarter. What do you mean by the word more there? Okay, don't talk in general language. Don't keep your objectives in general way. Be specific. Be concrete. You want to improve the sales. Tell me the number. How much? How much sales you will improve? Whether it is 2% or 5% or 10%. Tell the number, be specific. Don't say, I'll improve. No, that should not be the case. You should definitely say some number. How much? Be specific, man. That is the most important characteristic of objective. And objective should be related to a time frame. And some people say, I may not achieve my goal immediately, but definitely. Okay, in one context it is right, but it is not right in all the contexts. There should be a time frame. You should not say, one day I will become this. What is that day? Tell me the date. Tell me the time frame. In how many years you will do that? So, see, for example, if you say, I will achieve 5% increase in sales. By what time? Okay, 5% is specific number. It is good. But you should also tell me by what time. Will you do it in the next quarter? Or in the coming 2 quarters? Or in the coming year? Or in the coming 5 years? What is the time frame? So, you should talk in numbers. Your objective should not be generalized. Like, I will improve my sales in the coming years. What is that? I will improve my sales in the coming years. That statement itself is a vague statement. That should not be like that. It should be concise, it should be precise, it should be specific, to the point. What is the percentage of sales you want? And by what time you will reach that sales? These are very important. And objective should be measurable and controllable. Objective should be measurable. That means, for 1 quarter means 3 months. Okay. So, in the first quarter, you want to have 5% sales. Now, you have to check it at the end of the first month. Are you going nearer to your objective or not? By the end of second month, are you going nearer to the achievement of your objective or not? So, that you need to check out. There should be measurable, there should be some measure for your performance, and controllable. Are the objectives controllable or not? Controllable means what? First of all, you should have a clarity regarding what is your objective. Okay? And objective means what you should do and what you have done. Okay? See, when will the word control comes? The control comes when there is a gap between the standard performance and the actual performance. So, this is your standard performance. This is what you need to perform, and this is what you perform. Now, there is some gap between what you want to perform and what you have performed and what you want to perform. So, this gap has to be reduced. This gap has to be reduced. That is the most important thing. Next, objective should be challenging. This is another important thing. Objective should be challenging. See, you should set your objective somewhat above your capabilities, so that it should provide you some motivation. It should give you some challenge. Then only you will be very attentive in achieving your objective. See, this is our common experience that sometimes in very easy subjects we will not perform well, whereas in some tough subjects we will perform well. What is the reason? Because as these are easy subjects, we will not focus. We will not have any objective and we will not focus. As those subjects are tougher, we focus more and try to prepare well. So, the same case here. If your objectives are easily reachable, then you lose focus, you will lose attention, and finally you will not reach that objective. So, that is the reason your objective should be somewhat challenging to you, should pose a challenge to you, so that you will be motivated, you will be inspired. Okay? And different objectives should correlate with each other. This is another biggest issue. And at individual level, I am telling, one student wants to become a chartered accountant, at the same time wants to become a bodybuilder. Two different objectives which require two different ways of working out. Is it right? No. For example, a student wants to become a chartered accountant and wants to have a fit body. That is good. You can do some basic workout and keep your body fit and try to become a chartered accountant. But on the other hand, if you say that I want to become a bodybuilder as well as chartered accountant, sometimes it is not possible. Because you have a contradicting objective, you have a conflicting objective. Because each of your objective requires a lot of endeavor, lot of activity, where you don't have the resources, especially the time, and you cannot balance. So that's why whenever you have multiple objectives, you should always ensure that these objectives are not conflicting objectives. Okay, they should be correlated objectives. There should be some connection between your objectives. I want to become a cost accountant as well as chartered accountant at the same time. That is okay. But I want to become a bodybuilder and chartered accountant. That is not okay. Because here the objectives are conflicting. The resources required, everything is different. And how can you do all these two things? How can you make your journey on two boats at a time? One leg on each. You cannot do that. Okay? And objectives should be set within constraints. See, we have a theory called TOC, Theory of Constraints. See, constraints means limitations. See, only when there are some limitations, then our mind works sharp. And we will always focus on how to overcome all these restrictions, limitations, and how can I work better, how can I improve my competencies and capabilities. That is, in that way the mind thinks. And an objective should be specific. Finally, the conclusion is an objective should be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bounded. So, that we can remember with a mnemonic called as SMART, SMART. Means, finally, you should set SMART objectives. Specific objectives, already explained. Measurable, I explained. Achievable, I explained. Realistic, I explained. Time-bounded, I explained. All the 11 points explains the same thing. And final conclusion is, finally your objective should be smart objective. Okay. So that is about objectives. And we have finished that lesson with that. And let us see one application oriented question here. Mr. Ross has been hired as a CEO by XYZ Limited, a FMCG company that has diversified into affordable cosmetics. So, Mr. Ross has been appointed as a CEO of XYZ company, which makes affordable cosmetics to the people. The company intends to launch Feel Good brand of cosmetics. Okay, that means the name of their brand is Feel Good. And XYZ wishes to enrich the lives of people with its products that are good for skin and are produced in ecologically beneficial manner using herbal ingredients. So that is what the company wants to do. It wants to produce products which are good for the skin, and the products are to be made ecologically in a beneficial manner, and they want to use the herbal ingredients, it seems. Now, Mr. Raj has to formulate a vision and mission statement for XYZ company. See, this is a question which requires a lot of application of the subject knowledge. Hence, it is application oriented question. Because you need not write any definition here, but you need to write the vision and mission. Assuming yourself as Mr. Raj, assuming the role of Raj, the CEO of the company. Here you have to write the vision and mission of the company. See, here is one way of how you can write the answer. So, Feel Good brand of cosmetics may have the following vision and mission. There is no rule that the exact answer has to be written. This answer just forms a basis to your understanding to give you an idea of attempting an answer when a question is asked in this particular way. So there is no fixed rule that you need to write the answer in the same way. Okay. But one version of answer can be in this way. First you write about vision. 1 or 2 lines you write about vision. Okay. Vision implies the blueprint of the company's future position, that you know, and it describes where the organization wants to land. And Mr. Raj should aim to position, and now you should start writing the vision statement of the Feel Good brand of cosmetics. Like Feel Good Cosmetics as India's beauty care company. It may have vision to be India's largest beauty care company that improves looks, give extraordinary feeling and brings happiness to the people. Sir, you may ask me, sir, how can I write all these things? Assume the role, just visualize that you are the CEO of a good cosmetic company. Then what is your vision? What kind of cosmetics you want to make? Just you should write down in your own words. And mission. So you just write something about the mission, some 2 or 3 lines about the mission. Okay, and then Mr. Raj may identify the mission in the following lines. To be in the business of cosmetics to enhance the lives of people, give them confidence. To protect the skin from harmful elements in environment and sun rays. To produce herbal cosmetics using natural ingredients. Because mission tells what you should do. Now here it is told how the Mr. Raj's company should behave. It wants to offer cosmetics to the people to give them confidence. They want to use skin-friendly herbs and all. So in that way they want to make the cosmetics. And by doing like this, what they want to do, what they want to become, what is their vision? They want to become India's leading cosmetic company. So in that way, you need to attempt the answer. And what is strategic decision making and what tasks are performed by a strategic manager? See, this already we know. Already we know what is strategic decision making. You can write that, and you can what role a strategic manager plays: defining the mission and goals of the company, determining what business it should be in, allocating resources. See, these all are not new points. In the first lesson, already we learnt about the role of strategic managers. We have 3 questions, no? Business level managers, strategic level managers and functional level managers. In that question, we already learned this. You have to write that. That is what is application oriented. Okay, 2 concepts put together, strategic decision and the role of strategic decisions. And now what do you mean by shared vision and vision shared? See, shared vision means all people sit together, okay, lot of discussions are done, and finally the vision of the company is made. So that vision is more appropriate because everyone have participated in the vision making of the company, so that everyone will own that vision and will try to execute that vision. On the other hand, what is vision share? I did not consult anyone. Okay, I have a vision and I am trying to just forcefully implement that vision. That means my vision shared by all of you. That is vision shared. That is not appropriate. Whereas shared vision, all of us sitting together and forming a vision for the company, that is more appropriate. So shared vision is better than vision shared. Okay. Next. A company should focus on external perspective to define its mission. Yes, that's what I have already told you. We already learned that. Whenever you define a mission for your company, okay, you should know what is the external environment, what goals you want to satisfy, how you want to satisfy your customers, how you want to satisfy your shareholders, that is stakeholders, what kind of competencies you want to develop. So you have to focus on all these things and you have to write the mission statement of the company. So with this, we will stop this lesson. Thank you.